Welcome students to our next session of casting in mechanical sciences. Previously in the first video of casting we have discussed about the introductory part of casting along with its background, history and many more advantages of metal casting process as well as its limitations also. And we also discussed different casting terms in relation to a 3D diagram. And I promised you in the last video that I will provide a 2D diagram for a better clear understanding of the different casting terms, and also I will attach you a recorded video of live casting process that I recorded in our college workshop. So stick to me with this video and we will learn a lot about casting process along with the today main topic is the sand mold making procedure. So further before coming to this directly to this sand mold making procedure, I just want to recapitulate the things I have discussed with you in the last or the previous video. Okay, so any of you who haven't seen the first video on casting, I request you to kindly visit to the first video where we learn you will be able to learn the different introductory part definitions, different casting terms, backgrounds, histories of the metal casting processes as well. Okay, so let us start with this 2D diagram of the same thing I have discussed in the previous video in a 3D diagram. Okay, now you can know easily that this figure is a cross section, you can say, or 2D diagram as well you can say, which depicts of the molding box, you can say, where we have the upper portion as the cope and the lower portion as the drag as well, and we are having the different the systems or the parts of the molding box as well. And this figure you already know, this is known as ladle, as I earlier discussed in my previous video. The ladle is used for transferring or carrying the molten metal from the furnace to the molding box. Okay, now coming to this particular diagram, you can see there is a clamp. Okay, so the topmost portion you already know, it is known as cope, and the lowermost diagram portion is known as drag. So first you will easily learn how to make the sand mold. In the sand mold making procedure I will discuss how to, first we will be having the drag, then we will be having the wooden board. You already know wooden board. Okay, bottom board, usually we call it as a bottom board in our workshop. Then we have to place the pattern above the bottom board, where we have to give the sand over it and we have to ram it uniformly. Then we have to as well we have to put sand on the cope as well, and we have to ram it as well. Then the cope we have to put on the drag. Okay, so then we have to clamp them both. This is a clamp, these two are the supports, or you can say the clamps. Okay, as well. Now previously I discussed pouring basin. Look here, this is the this is the pouring basin, you can see. Okay, where the molten metal is coming directly after the ladle, so it is putting in the coming to the pouring basin. So pouring basin you can say it is a melting device. You can write it somewhere, take a note. Okay, melting device for the flow of metal, you can write for the flow of metal. Okay, now coming to the sprue, you know already what is sprue. Sprue is the passage from where the molten metal comes to the molding cavity after passing through the pouring basin. So sprue is this one, you can see it is a vertical structure. Okay, and it is a passage also for the molten metal. Okay, so for sprue you can write a note. Sprue is the main feed line, where we are feeding the molten metal into the mold cavity. Okay, so you can write main feed line into the mold, you can write into the mold. Okay, now coming to the there is one more portion I forget to mention in the last video. This portion here is the portion which is the, I can show you here, this is known as choke. Okay, CHOKE. Choke is the that portion of a molding box which is having the least area, cross-sectional area, you can say. Okay, so choke is a mechanism, you can say. It is a mechanism. Just make a note somewhere to have a quick view whenever you forget or you just want to have a quick review. So just try to make a note. So choke, you can write, it is a mechanism to control or control flow rate, you can write. Control flow rate, you can write. Or also you can say it also slows downs the flow of molten metal. What happens, look, the choke is this portion is known as choke, where the cross section area is the least in this total structure of the molding cavity. And the choke, what happens when the molten metal is coming to this vertical structure, it comes with a velocity. Okay, now somehow you want to slow down the speed or the velocity, you can say, then the choke comes into action. Okay, so choke's function is to control flow rate, as well as it also slows down the flow of molten metal as well. Okay, now coming to the next portion, the runner. The runner is this one. This section is the runner. Okay, you already know runner, as because I earlier discussed in the previous video. Runner is the passage. It is also the passage like the sprue, but it is a horizontal one. The sprue is a vertical one. So runner, you can say it is a passageways through the mold. Through the mold, you can say. Okay, where the melting metal flows to the gate, and after gate it goes to the the mold cavity. Okay, so gate, I will highlight it. This is the gate, this is the gate. Okay, so this is the gate, this portion is the gate. Okay, this portion, you can write it. So for gate, you can write gate. Gate is the entrances, or you can simply write entrance into ENTRANCES. Okay, so it will be in over here. So entrances into the mold cavity, you can write. And also it also ensures the quality of metal being poured. Okay, so that is the function of gate. Or you can simply say the gate is the main entry point. Okay, but or you can say the checkpoint of the molding cavity as well. Okay, so it is the last checkpoint before entering the mold cavity directly. Okay, so that is the gate. Now you can see this is the mold cavity. I can write it for you. This is the this is the mold cavity. Where the molten metal arrives, and it takes the shape of the pattern as well, and it solidifies, and we get the finished product or the final product as well. Okay, now coming to the next, look, there is a opening over here. Okay, you can see there is an opening over here. Okay, so for that, why is there a opening? I earlier told you in the previous video, this opening is known as riser as well. You already know what is the function of riser. Previously I told you that riser has got two functions as well. First function is to it acts as an indicator. It acts as an indicator, like when you are pouring molten metal in this particular mold cavity, you have to ensure where there is enough metal in the mold cavity or not. How to ensure? You just can't keep on pouring the molten metal as well. You have to make sure whether it is filled or not. So this riser acts as an indicator. When this molten metal comes to this mold cavity, it got fill up and it rises up after filling the mold cavity. So whenever you see the molten metal coming out of the riser, you have to stop pouring the molten metal. As we got, it indicates that the mold cavity is totally filled up with this molten metal as well. Okay. So first function of the riser is to make sure or ensure you whether the mold cavity is totally filled up with molten metal or not. And the second function, it helps in the, it acts as a reservoir, you can say. What kind of reservoir? During solidification, if there is any shrinkage or there is any scarcity or need of again molten metal, okay, sometimes it happens that when it solidifies, it becomes shrinked, that is, it shrinks. Okay, so there is a need of extra molten metal. So the riser provides the extra molten metal which comes through this in the backward direction. When you are pouring this, it is coming in this direction and it is moving upwards in this direction only. Okay, but when during solidification, if somehow it contracts and you are needing you are in need of again extra material, molten material for solidification or the casting, riser provides you with the extra amount of material. Okay, so it helps in also to avoid shrinkage. Okay, so it helps during the solidification by providing extra amount of molten metal. That is the function of riser as well. So you must keep a note of riser, as because the function of riser is very important and for MCQ purposes as well. Okay, so I think I have covered the most of the common casting terms relating to the mold cavity as well. Now I will move to the directly to the sand mold making procedure. Let us see how to make sand mold. Okay, so first operation before casting, you have to perform different operations, mainly pattern making, then sand preparation as well. Now the third portion comes to the sand mold preparation. I will also make a class on pattern making as well, as because pattern is very important in relation to casting. So I will make a different class on pattern making where we will learn a lot about patterns. Okay, today we will start with the sand mold making procedure as well. Okay, now look, before pouring molten metal or performing the casting operation, you have to perform the sand mold making procedure. Now in this procedure, first bottom board, you already know in the first video I described what a bottom board is known and what is the uses of bottom board. A bottom board is generally nothing but simply a wooden board. It is easily available anywhere, so you need to have a wooden board. Okay, so first a wooden bottom board, we will say this as a bottom board rather than a wooden board. So first a bottom board has to be placed either on the molding platform on the floor. Say this is the floor, we have to place a bottom board. Okay, and making the surface even, you have to make the surface even. Okay, now the drag molding flux, already what is the flux. This is the flux. Okay, so this is a track. Here you can see we have 1 2 3 4 5 diagrams as well. Okay, so these are the steps, different steps involving the sand molding making procedure. So I will try to explain each and every diagram for the complete and clear understanding of sand mold making procedure. Okay, so just stick to this video till the end. You will learn how to make a sand mold for casting. No, you have to first place a bottom board on the molding platform, then a drag molding flux have to be kept upside down. Upside down means this one, upside down. Okay, reverse one, not this one. This one is the normal one, but when you are reversing this is upside down. This means upside down, reverse direction. Okay, so you have to place in this direction. Like look, say we are having this one is say your bottom side, look like say this one is. Okay, so this is the bottom board and you have to put a drag molding flux in upside down position. Okay, this one on the bottom board along with the drag part of the pattern at the center of the flux, at the board center. You have to keep it at the center. this is not center actually, this should be somewhat offset. So say this is the center, so you have to keep it at center. Okay, now you have to next, there should be enough clearance between the pattern and the walls of the flux. Okay, enough clearance, pattern and the walls of the flux. This is the flux. Okay, the order we usually keep in performing this around the clearance remains around 50 to 100 millimeter. Okay, the clearance between the drag and the walls of the flux, the pattern and the walls of the flux. Okay, the clearance is around 50 to 100 millimeter. Now dry facing sand, you already know the function of dry facing sand. I already discussed in the first video what is the function of dry facing sand. So dry facing sand is sprinkled over the board, this board. This is the bottom board, so just keep a note somewhere, write it down it as a bottom board, or you will just forget BOARD, that is the bottom board. Okay, so dry facing sand is to be sprinkled over the bottom board and the pattern, this bottom board and pattern. Look, the pattern is in contact with this bottom board, as because the drag is upside down. Okay, so you have to sprinkle dry facing sand over the board and the pattern. Okay, to provide a non-sticky layer. That is the main important thing. Now freshly prepared molding sand, the preparation of molding sand is also very much important. I will discuss in another class how to make the molding sand, the proportion. You already know the proportion, silica, moisture and clay are the main principal ingredients of molding sand, and I will again discuss the exact proportions of the molding sand as well. Okay, so just for now you just keep in mind that freshly prepared molding sand of requisite quality is very important for a sound casting. Okay, so freshly prepared, the preparation should be fresh. Okay, you cannot keep in, you just have to prepare that before the casting has to be done. You cannot just prepare and keep it in your refrigerator and use it after 4 or 3 days. That is not allowable. Okay, so you have to prepare fresh. So freshly prepared molding sand of requisite quality is now poured in the drag. Okay, and on the drag to a thickness of 30 to 50 millimeter. That should be the thickness of freshly prepared molding sand, 30 to 50 millimeter. Now rest of the drag flax, rest of the drag flax is completely filled with backup sand. You already know also what is the backup sand. I already discussed the use of backup sand earlier in the first video. Okay, and after filling with the rest, after filling the freshly prepared 30 to 50 millimeter, then you have to put the backup sand and uniformly ram. You have to ram it uniformly to compact the sand. Okay, to give strength to the molding sand. Okay, now the ramming of the sand should be done very properly so as not to compact it too hard. If you compact it too hard, if you ram it too hard, it will be very unhealthy, as because for the casting, as because it will not allow the escape of gases. I already mentioned you, when you are going to put a molten metal in the highly molten metal, high temperature, it will require some escape routes for the gases that it produces. Okay, so you have to keep in mind, you have to ram in such a way that you just not ram it too hard or not too loose, as because if you make it too hard, escape of gases will not be taken place. That will produce casting defects. And if you again ram it too loose, then also the mold would not have enough strength. So you have to ram the sand very properly. That is the main funda behind this sound casting process. Okay, so after the ramming is over, the excess sand, here will be the excess sand after the ramming, excess sand. So after the ramming is over, the excess sand in the flux is needed to be scrapped out. You have to scrap it out using a flat wire, somewhat like that. You will easily found it in in the workshop. So this type of bar, you have to just keep the sand out of the extra sand out of the flux edges. Okay, now comes the use of vent wear. What is the vent wear? Simply like pins. This one, say simply like pins. This is vent wear. Okay, this is known as vent wear. You can see it in the workshop as well. So this is the vent wear, like needle you can say. Okay, not that so small, it is bigger than needle. Okay, so they are known as vent wear. Just simply think of it as a wire only. Okay, so with the help of the vent wear, and its diameter is say having around 1 to 2 millimeter. Okay, diameter, with a pointed end. This is a pointed, okay, a pointed end. Vent holes are to be made in the drag to full depth of the flux. That means it should reach full depth. Look, say we are having this is a drag, so you have to make a full depth, escape route for the gases. So the function of the vent wear is to make void spaces or vent holes to the full depth of the flux, as well as to pattern to facilitate the removal of gases during casting solidification. Okay, this completes the preparation of the track. So first diagram is completed. So all the thing I described requires this, completion of the track itself. Okay, now coming to the next portion, this finished track flux is now rolled over. Okay, you have to roll it over. Okay, you have to roll it over to the bottom board, exposing the pattern. This is the pattern, you can see, exposing the pattern. Okay, using a slick, I can show you like this one. Say this is a slick, you can say. So using a slick, the edges of the sand, look, this sides you have to repair. Just think that with the help of this slick or something like that tool, casting tool, you can say, you have to just repair the sides. Okay, sand around the pattern, this pattern you have to just repair. You can see in the home also, when the machinery work is going on in the home also, they are using these kinds of tools to repair the cements over the places. Okay, so you just need to know that we have to repair the sides using this particular tool that is known as slick, you can say. Okay, the slick. Okay, slick. So just keep in mind, slick helps in repairing the edges, you can say, of sand around the pattern. Okay, now the cope hub is placed above the drag pattern. The upper portion is known as cope and the lower portion is known as drag. So you have to place the cope as well above the drag. Aligning, you have to align it, keep in line. Okay, so you have to check whether it is aligned or not. And this, these are the supports, you already know, these are the supports. So you have to keep in mind that it is aligned so that you can tighten it up. Okay, now dual pins, dual pins. Look, these are the dual pins. This is shown over here. You have to align it with the help of this dual pins itself. Okay, now the cope flux, this is the cope flux on top of the drag is located, aligning again with the help of these pins. Okay, the dry parting sand, you already know parting sand, this is a parting line. The dry parting sand is sprinkled all over the drag and on the pattern. You have to sprinkle dry parting sand all over the drag and on the pattern as well. This is the drag, this is the cope. Okay, this is the parting line. Okay, now next is sprue pin. For making the sprue passage, you have to make a sprue. I have not shown in the figure. So say you can see, I can see it over you for your help. Say you have to make a sprue, you have to cut a sprue, say this one. So somewhat like that. I cannot show you in this 2D diagram. For timing, just think of it like that. You have to just make a passage like this one. Okay, conical shaped passage. This is known as sprue. Okay, so this one. So this is the sprue. Okay, So next is sprue pin. You have to take a pin like this one only. Okay, that is known as sprue pin as well. So you have to take a sprue pin for making the sprue passage, and it should be located at a small distance of about, say this is the pattern, and that should be around 50 millimeter from the top. Okay, that should be the length of the sprue as well. Okay, and now also a riser pin. You have to also make a riser. You already know what is riser. So here will be the riser. This one, say this is the riser, you can say. This looks like somewhat of a riser. So riser is also a passage for the flow of the molten metal as well. Okay, now again you have to take a riser pin, somewhat looks like this one. Also a riser pin have to be taken and have to be kept in an appropriate place you have to choose. Okay, and freshly prepared molding sand similar to that of the drag, this one drag, along with the baking sand is to be sprinkled. Okay, now the sand is rammed. You have to ram the sand. Again, excess sand scrapped and vent holes are made all over the cope. You have to make sure you have to make vent holes as well all over the cope. This one you have to make. Okay, as in the drag, we already make vent wares in the drag as well. So we again have to perform the same operation to make the vent ware. Now the sprue pin and the riser pin have to be carefully withdrawn from the flux. Later the pouring basin has to be cut near the top of the sprue. Look, this one like this one. Basin, the shape of the basin. So you also have to cut the pouring basin, where with the help of the ladle, this ladle, you have to pour the molten metal. So this is the pouring basin. Okay, so you have to make the pouring basin also. Now the cope have to be separated from the drag, and loose sand on the cope and drag interface of the drag is to be blown up with the help of bellows. Bellows is another long structure. You'll be I'll show the pictures in a later somewhat in some classes, the different tools using in repairing the casting. You can also find in internet the pictures of the slicks and bellows as well. Okay, now the next we have to do the cope and drag pattern hubs are to be withdrawn with by using draw spikes. They are also a kind of tools, and then we have to wrap the pattern all over to slightly enlarge the mold cavity. This is a mold cavity. To enlarge the mold cavity so that the mold walls are not spoiled by the withdrawn pattern. Okay, look, you have to withdraw pattern. You have to withdraw the pattern, as because before molten metal, before we are pouring the molten metal, we have to withdraw the pattern, as because the work of the pattern is already over. You had made a hole similar to that pattern, so you have to just withdraw the pattern. So while withdrawing, what happens? The sand around it gets disturbed. So you have to make sure that the sand should be keeping intact. Okay, now that's why I was saying that you have to while withdrawing the draw spikes and wrapping the pattern all around to slightly enlarge the mold cavity so that the mold walls are not spoiled by the withdrawn pattern. Okay, now the runners and the gates. Here will be the runners and the gates. Here will be. Okay, I cannot see make you help you with the diagram. The runners and the diagrams I can show you in this particular diagram. I will show you in somewhere else, some next lecture as well. Now the next you have to cut the runners and the gates over here in the mold carefully without spoiling the mold. You have to keep in mind you cannot spoil the mold as well. Okay, now any excess or loose sand found in the runners on the mold cavity has to be blown away using the bellows. Bellows somewhat like the rickshawalas, the hand pulled rickshawalas, they are using the bellows. You might have seen that produces sound. This one, say this one. Okay, so it has an opening over here. If you just compress it, it produces sound, and for this purpose, casting purpose, it produces a wind, a air. So with the help of this, compressing this one, pressing this bellow, the excess sand with the help of the wind goes away. Okay, so that is the bellow, you know, that is the bellow. Sometimes it comes in a larger size also. Okay, I have shown a smaller size of the bellow. Now the facing sand in the form of paste, you have to make a paste of the facing sand. You know what is the facing sand, I already discussed. So facing sand in the form of the paste is to be applied all over the mold cavity, this mold cavity, and the runners as well, which would give the, you know, casting a very good surface finish, as because the main function of the facing sand is to give a good surface finish. Okay, now a dry sand core has to be prepared using a core box. You already know why we are using core for making, you know, hollow castings, and so that we have to use core for making hollow cast. Again, after, you know, suitable baking, the core has to be placed in the mold cavity, you know, and then the cope is to be replaced on the drag, taking care of the alignment of the two by means of the, you know, pins. Okay, and now this one you can see over here, this is the weight. So a suitable weight have to be put on the cope to take care of the upward metallostatic force during pouring of the molten metal. So you have to keep a weight over the cope. Okay, now the mold, you can see this one is ready for pouring. So that's all for the sand mold making procedure. Just stick to this channel for more updates, subscribe it, and share the videos with your friends. We will be having more classes on mechanical sciences, different topics, patterns, castings, forming as well. So just stick with me, and if you have enjoyed watching my video, please give a like. Thank you for watching.